Hello and a warm welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojenta. The leadership of the National Assembly has pledged to engage President Bola Tinubu on the need to conduct a national population census this year. Speaker of the House of Representatives, Tajuddin Abbas, said this during a meeting with the management team of the National Population Commission in Abuja. Speaker Abbas, however, expressed his support for an order by President Tinubu that the National Population Commission should conduct a biometric census this year. He told the NPC delegation that a national head count is long overdue as it will establish the country's numerical strength after almost 2 decades. While acknowledging that the budget of the National Population Commission was inadequate to conduct a census, the Speaker said the federal government may consider other sources of funding, including the Sovereign Wealth Fund. Chairman of the Commission, Nasru Kwara, said plans for the biometric census include acquisition of technology, recruitment and training of officials, as well as establishment of a situation room. The National Conference on Strengthening Democracy, tagged Pathway to Good Governance and Political Integrity, has ended in Abuja with resolutions targeting the deepening of democratic values and ethics for political stability. In our communique, emphasis was laid on electoral reforms, credible opposition, recruitment of leadership by preference of proven character and not party.
The Ways report, which emphasized long-term strategies that prioritize sustainable electoral systems to benefit future generations rather than short-term solutions, should be revisited.
Other critical resolutions reached were also on zero security interference with the political process, self-funding by political parties, rejection and sit-tight syndrome by some African leaders influenced by constitutional amendments,
and alleviating poverty to curb alarming trend of meal over the votes.
Participants appreciated the Center for Leadership Strategy and Development for convening the conference, appealing to INEC to sustain deployment of advanced technology in managing electoral process. Governors of Bayelsa, Rivers, Akwa Ibom, and Cross River, as well as Delta states under the aegis of the South-South Governors Forum, have shown their support behind President Bola Tinubu's proposed tax reform policy, urging him to extend the proposed VAT sharing percentages to other areas of derivation, such as oil and gas. Temini Ohia reports on a communique of the South-South Governors Forum during a meeting in Yenagwa, Bayelsa State.
The South-South governors assembled in Bayelsa State to, among other things, chart a common cause for the region. Governor of Bayelsa State, Doye Diri, stresses the need to foster greater synergy. In a communique read by the Bayelsa State Governor, Doye Diri, the governors expressed support for the ongoing tax reforms of President Bola Tinubu administration and urged the president to extend the proposed VAT sharing to other areas of derivation like the oil and gas.
The forum further requests the federal government to urge relevant stakeholders and agencies to extend the remediation of polluted environments ongoing in Ogoniland to other impacted communities and states in the region.
For the governors, the need to connect member states were topmost priority to include transport, completion of the East-West Road and regional security. The governors unanimously adopts Governor Diri as the chairman of the forum and Basi Etu of Cross River State as the vice chairman.
The country is restructuring and Nigeria is actually emerging as an economy. As the South-South states and the region, we must also begin to look beyond oil. What are we going to do?
We have to succeed in this drive we need to keep our political differences aside.
Iyinogwa, Timinapri, Ohia, NTA News.
To complement the ongoing federal government's retraining exercise for 120,000 frontline health workers nationwide, the Renewed Hope Initiative has presented 10,000 professional kits to midwives in the 6 north-central states. Nigeria's First Lady, Oluremi Tinubu, while presenting the kits in Ilorin, Kwara State, says the intervention stems from RHI's recognition of the critical demands for adequate skills and tools in the health sector.
I am informed that the 54,346 health workers have already completed their training, and that is why the Renewed Hope Initiative, RHI, procured 60,000 branded scrubs and 60,000 crops as an incentive to encourage and support the tireless dedication of our midwives. All 6 geopolitical zones will be receiving 10,000 scrubs and 10,000 crops to be shared among the states in each zone.
The provision of these kits will not only ensure that our health workers are well equipped to perform their duties, but also send strong message of solidarity and hope to those who are devoted to protecting the health of our mothers and children.
First ladies at the subnational level to expand the reach of midwifery services and provide the voices of health workers and ensure that every woman in Nigeria has access to skilled care during pregnancy and childbirth.
We are indeed fortunate to have a leader in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu who has not only prioritized health through his communication and signaling, but has taken real concrete action. If you look at
the federal government says it is going hard on anyone practicing in any field of medicine without authorization or licensing, as issue of human capital in the sector is being addressed. Minister of State for Health and Social Welfare, Dr. Ishaq Salako, handed down the warning in continuation of his assessment visits to departments and agencies under the ministry. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim reports.
Inadequate manpower, largely attributed to brain drain, is gradually giving way to cracks in the medical field, with the attendant consequences of death of patients, and the ministry is aware of this. So, steps are being taken to address these issues squarely. First up is the assessment of sectors under the Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, and the Minister of State for Health visits the Community Health Practitioners Registration Board of Nigeria. Reading out its mandate and achievements, Registrar of the board, Bashir Idris, says the board is constantly updating and upgrading its activities, especially training and retraining of its personnel, which is key in the profession.
I want to assure you, a CHU, JHU, and CHO is a skilled birth attendant. All requirement for doctor has been captured in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Health. They have imputed our document, so a CHU can receive delivery, a JHU can receive delivery. Courtesy, sir, the time frame we have done to upgrade, strengthen our training.
While commending the board's achievements, the minister also tasked the board to be on the watch not to allow unqualified personnel into the field.
The world and community levels, it's going to be dependent mostly on community health officers and our agenda with making primary health care the cornerstone of our healthcare system.
Before leaving, the board decorated the minister as fellow of the Community Health Institute. In Abuja, Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Upgrading and transforming Nigeria's transport system in tune with global best practices is the new perspective getting attention of relevant stakeholders. Transport correspondent Ladi Bala reports that Vice President Kashim Shettima was represented at the stakeholders' engagement on this. Let's hear about the loss of audio in that report. Now, transport system in Enugu State will soon improve significantly with the construction of modern bus terminals, transitioning to CNG-powered buses and electric taxis, and using mobile applications to reduce fuel costs and emissions. Comfort Anyim reports that the ultra-modern bus terminal project, which commenced July 2024, is about 95% completed.
A developed transport system is essential to achieve economic development. Unfortunately, for decades now, the volume of traffic at the Holy Ghost axis of the popular Ogbete main market at the heartbeat of Enugu State, Nigeria, has remained a growing burden to the state. Since inception of his administration, Governor Ba decided it is time to change the conversation to restore the lost glory of Enugu State.
Taking a geometric and rapid progress. I'm impressed.
The dual terminal, replicated in other 4 different locations, focuses on interstate transportation for Terminal 1 and intra-city transportation for Terminal 2.
Right there, we have what we call the loading bay. The buses are going to start coming in about 2-3 weeks, and they are going to be CNG buses. The 2 terminals are connected by what we call the pedestrian bridge.
When completed, the new bus terminal will help ease some of the burden and further address the growing demand for reliable transit options. In Enugu, Comfort Anyim, NTA News.
And Comfort is standing by at the Holy Ghost Park Enugu to give us an update. Now, Comfort, the idea of the bus terminal is to create a more efficient, sustainable and accessible transportation network for residents. Tell us, how is it going?
Good afternoon and welcome to the ongoing Holy Ghost Modern Bus Terminal, located at the Holy Ghost Cathedral axis by Ogbete Main Market, one of the earliest developed markets in Igbo land and the largest in Enugu State. When the demolition of structures here started early 2024, there were mixed reactions, lamentations everywhere, especially the affected. All eyes were on Governor Ba to see the execution of the projects carrying 16 hectares of land. Well, succor has finally come. Today, things have turned out differently than expected, and people are coming together to celebrate the good news, not just because of the benefits, but the speed and commitment by the state government with contractors handling the project, which commenced in July 2024. The Terminal 2 has interstates for people going outside Enugu, while the intrastate for those moving within Enugu axis are connected with a pedestrian bridge. The pedestrian bridge you can see behind me, and the Terminal 2 is here, while Terminal 1 is also behind me there. With me is the project manager. Hello, project manager. With me is the project manager. Let's get to meet him to get more information on the level of work done so far, looking at the progress recorded. Good afternoon, Mr. Nawal.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Can you tell us the level of progress recorded so far, looking at the challenges or otherwise?
Yeah, this is good afternoon once again. This is the Enugu interchange project involving about 4 bus terminals within the Enugu metropolis. Right behind me is Terminal 2. On the opposite side, we have Terminal 1. Terminal 2, as earlier mentioned, is an intrastate terminal. In here, we have buses going within the Enugu metropolis, understand? And we have facilities. We have the parking spaces. We have the loading bay for buses that are going to be taking passengers and moving to various destinations within Enugu State. Within the terminal itself, we have the patrol lounges, we have the arrival spaces, we have the luggage spaces, we have 25-room hotel within the terminal itself. We have eateries.
Okay, so when are we expecting completion?
Completion, as you can see, we're about 95% down, then gone. Completion in the next 2-3 weeks, this terminal will be fully ready, and the buses are already on. So, they are ready to take this on. and I believe it's going to serve a lot of people within the metropolis.
Thank you very much. That will be all for now. Studios is back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Comfort, for that update. Now, following an explosion that killed 2 and injured many Masheku community, Niger State, the National Emergency Management Agency NEMA and its state counterparts have visited the scene. Kabir Abdullahi reports that properties worth millions of naira were destroyed, with many residents trying to come to terms with the reality.
The explosion occurred at a residential building occupied by the local miners due to poor handling of dynamite.
Before you comot say no go fetch water, before you enter house back like na you hear light, you hear the like bomb, boom, you scatter our house. Everywhere was in fact affected. Then my own personal house was affected too.
I came back from the mosque in the morning and I was preparing to go out and I heard a loud noise. Before I regained myself, I was badly injured. Reason why the staff of the National Emergency Management Agency and other stakeholders in the state visited the community.
There was an electric spark in the shop, and the wires begin to melt. On that process, the melting begin to touch the cartons in the shop. The cartons caught fire.
This calls for government to check mining activities in the area to forestall reoccurrence. In Sabon Pegi, Kabir Abdullahi, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Niger State Governor Umar Bago, Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris, and other dignitaries have paid a sympathy visit to Sabon Pegi over an explosion that affected lives and property, where the minister advised residents to guard against future occurrences by displaying a sense of commitment to the safety of lives and property. He appealed to the people of the affected community to adhere to the new messages of caution being preached by the National Orientation Agency. More details on this will come in our subsequent bulletins. The Nigerian girl child continues to face significant challenges, and despite numerous government policies and initiatives, cultural and societal barriers still hinder many girls from accessing education. Zeret Digmun reports on how the Ministry of Education is addressing these issues through a strategic conference with traditional and religious leaders.
Your position of influence enable you to effect positive change, advocate for girls' education, and inspire communities to value education as a pathway to progress and prosperity.
Once a young girl herself, the Minister of State for Education, Professor Suwaiba Ahmed, exemplifies how empowering the girl child through education can transform a nation.
I can assure you, under Mr. President's watch, child development and protection will remain a priority for this country.
Since its inception, the federal government's Adolescent Girls Initiative for Learning and Empowerment, AGILE, has focused on designing and implementing programs to make education more accessible for young females across Nigeria. The latest step in this journey is a gathering of traditional and religious leaders alongside other key stakeholders to discuss breaking cultural and religious barriers that hinder girl-child education.
Mobilize resources, foster collaboration between government and communities, and support initiatives that bring educational opportunities closer to underserved areas.
Painful, tough choices, not because we like them, but so that we can generate resources that can begin to fund our priorities. Principal amongst which is education.
We must not meet again to discuss issues about education of our girls again. Implementation is what we need to do.
Participants at the conference agreed on the need to revamp and intensify awareness efforts, particularly at the grassroots. In Abuja, Zenra Dingun, NTA News.
Still on education, the University of Abuja will not relent in its effort at fostering an environment where curiosity thrives, creativity flourishes, and innovations that proffer solutions for societal challenges. This is coming from Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja, Professor Aisha Sani Mikudi, at the university's 6th Undergraduate Research Day, which focuses on promoting national development through research. The Vice Chancellor approved and presented a sum of 15 million naira as grants to 6 undergraduate students who are going to conduct researches in various human endeavors.
Your involvement in research today prepares you not only for academic excellence, but also for contributing meaningfully to our nation's growth. Whether it is in addressing health challenges, advancing technology, enhancing governance, or ensuring sustainability, the solutions to our greatest national issues lie in the quality of ideas that emerge from platforms like these. We want every research that will be submitted to us to be linked to a particular SDG so that we can look at what you're doing and it will boost your chances of being awarded with grants.
Students' research works are on photochemical and antimicrobial properties, evaluating the photochemical and anti-diabetic properties of curry leaves using AI and machine learning to model energy consumption in Abuja Students' Hostel and assessment of biosafety and waste management practice in abattoirs in the FCT, among others. I'm still talking education, but this time around we shall be heading to our Lagos Network Center, where Hingino has the next set of stories from that zone. Hello, Hingino.
Effective oversight of educational institutions, especially primary and secondary schools in the country, will go a long way in ensuring the standard of education is sustained in the wake of proliferation of private schools in the country. Experts say the focus of establishing schools should be on qualitative education rather than just a business venture. Joel Pupola has the report.
The education sector plays a pivotal role in the development of any nation. Thus, the need to maintain standards has become imperative, since no country can grow beyond the standard of its education. Amidst the growing number of private schools in the country, which in some instances have outnumbered government schools, the standard of these schools, according to experts, raises concern whether they were established for academic excellence or simply a business venture.
We must balance the expansion of education, the expansion of balance the expansion of education, balance the lack of infrastructure, balance the absence of enough public funding with effective regulation. So if we have more private hands coming in, that won't be an issue. But we need to invest more in regulation to ensure that what the private people are doing is not just for the benefits of profitability, but for the benefits of the prosperity of our country, Nigeria.
When we went to school, the basis of going to school is for us to acquire knowledge. Is that not so? But nowadays, in this present society, in Nigeria as it is now, education is business.
Paul Bernard, who was a teacher in a private school before changing his career, says despite the exorbitant tuition fees, teachers' welfare is not prioritized, while the schools also engage in all sorts of unwholesome practices just to sustain enrollments.
So the impression they are giving to parents and what is actually on ground is not the same. So imagine now, after maybe continuous assessments, after exams, you have a specific number, like 5 number of students that got A, B, and let's say like 50% of the students got F. They will consider you as a bad teacher.
Stakeholders unanimously agreed that effective oversight of these schools will ensure these schools do not deviate from standards in enrollment of students and teachers. In Lagos, Joel Okbola, NTA News.
Digital technology can be used as a veritable means of revenue generation for the country, as well as creating jobs for the teeming youths. This was the opinion of ICT experts while reacting to the growth of digital economy in Nigeria. Bolaji Akim completes the story.
Nigeria, with a population of over 230 million people,
no doubt is a market force to reckon with globally. This reason, according to the Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, forms the present administration's quest to strengthen the country's economy through digital technology.
We have a strong belief that for us to strengthen the economy that we want to see in our nation, we must prioritize productivity, and there's no other way to drive productivity but through technology and innovation.
Powered by digital technology, the digital economy, which has turned the world into a global village, has opened a series of advantages both to the government and its citizens. By creating jobs for Nigerian youths through ICT initiative, this innovation has greatly reduced unemployment among the young people who are now fully engaged in creating content online and contributing to the nation's GDP.
There is a global market available on the internet now that our young ones have taken serious advantage of, and is bringing in a lot of money for them.
Some people are brand influencers. Some people set up their internet. They set up their business on the internet.
Creating an enabling environment and timely review of digital technology policies, according to experts, will form an equilibrium between governments and stakeholders in the digital economy industry. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Those are the reports from Lagos. Nationwide continues with Chika in our Enugu Network Center when we return from this break.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national top TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their socio-economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all governments.
Welcome to Enugu Network Center. Besides other factors, the obstruction caused by articulated vehicles, especially inflammable trucks on Nigerian roads, has not only been an increasing menace, but a disturbing phenomenon. Correspondent examines the impact of the recent tanker explosion at Ugonyama sector of the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway that affected 31 persons, among other economic loss.
Of the Enugu-Onitsha Expressway is gradually taken after the Mediterranean Sea, where people travel with their hearts in their hands. Due to the incessant and devastating crashes it witnesses almost on a daily basis. The recent tanker fuel explosion, according to the Federal Road Safety Corps in Enugu State, affected 31 persons, with 18 burnt victims and the 16 vehicles. Governor Peter Mba, who earlier visited the scene of the tanker explosion for an on-the-spot assessment, received federal government aid for the victims and emphasized the need for petrol tanker drivers to install anti-spill lock in their vehicles to avert spillage in case of emergency.
This issue of tanker explosion is becoming so recurrent, and I did say that I called on the law enforcement agencies, particularly the road safety corps, to ensure the enforcement of the anti-spill law.
While visiting some of the victims who sustained various degrees of burn injuries at the National Orthopedic Hospital Enugu, the Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, Zubida Umar, stressed the need for sensitization campaigns on disaster risk reduction strategies to safeguard lives and property.
We've visited the state government. We have come to the hospitals to see some of the casualties, and we've also come on behalf of the federal government to provide food, non-food items, medicine and medicaments.
To say that the impact of the tanker explosion has left a disfiguring scar on many may be a statement of fact, but what of paramount concern to all stakeholders right now is for more relief materials to be provided for the victims. In line with the federal government directive, the National Orientation Agency has flagged off campaign against the use of harmful chemicals for preservation of grains. Chinaza reports that the agency engaged foodstuff dealers in Ebonyi State on best practices that are friendly to human health.
One of the basic necessities for human survival is food. It can also be life-threatening when preserved with harmful substances. According to health experts, the use of toxic chemicals and preservation of grains, among other food items, poses health challenge to humans. To arrest this hazardous practice, the Ebonyi State National Orientation Agency, in collaboration with the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, sensitized members of the Abakaliki foodstuff dealers on proper ways of storing and preserving grains to avoid diseases like diabetes, obesity, cancer, kidney, liver disorders, and other metabolic diseases.
Stop using dangerous chemicals in storing and preserving grains for the health of our people. We cannot compromise human health in pursuit of material gains.
It's not just for yourself. You may be doing it, I think is right. But we think of the final consumer.
The intervention of the government and other relevant agencies, the foodstuff dealers say, have exposed them to alternative means and healthier ways of grain storage and preservation.
Before they used to use chemical, but now since these people came here and to use this bag, we are stopping.
I'm appealing to you people to please ask the government to subsidize the price of those bags, because it can make somebody not to preserve things where it's supposed to be.
The sensitization is one of the federal government's policy of promoting healthy living among the citizens. In Abakaliki, Chinaza John, NTA News.
That's our contributions from here. Over to Abuja for the continuation of the news.
Thank you very much, Chika. Now, the Nigerian Safety Investigation Bureau, NSIB, has launched an investigation into the incident involving Mass Air Boeing 737, which departed Lagos for Kano on Tuesday at about 10:58 p.m. local time. The aircraft landed on runway 06 during the deceleration phase while still under 60 knots and with the thrust reverser engaged. A loud bang was heard, followed by the aircraft bearing sharply to the left. All 53 passengers and crew members were disembarked safely and no injuries recorded. The Director, Public Affairs and Family Assistance of the NSIB, Bimbo Olawumi Oladeji, says investigation is ongoing to find the root cause of the incident. In the meantime, Director, Consumer Protection and Public Affairs of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, Michael Achimogo, in a statement says domestic operations of Mass Air has been suspended for 3 months beginning from 31st January 2025 to allow for internal appraisal of its operations. During the period, NCAA will conduct a thorough safety and economic audit on Mars Air to guarantee its capability to sustain safe flight operations. The Nigerian Navy is upscaling efforts to ensure that maritime crimes in the Niger Delta are squarely addressed, especially crude oil thefts. Flag Officer Commanding Navy Headquarters Logistics Command, Ogara, Rear Admiral Oluwole Fadeyi, made the promise as he assumes office as the new Flag Officer. He charged officers and men of the command to maintain discipline, professionalism, and hard work to achieve success.
The greatest part of our foreign earning. The crude oil reserves are out at sea there. So it is important that Nigeria will have platforms to ensure that those platforms, those critical infrastructures, are in good conditions and that there are no criminal activities happening around there. Now the only way we can do this is to ensure that we have enough platforms to have presence at sea at any time.
By the unwavering support of the Chief of the Naval Staff, Principal Staff Officers at the headquarters, and indeed my team of officers and men of the command, we were able to support the conduct of a series of operations by the Operations Command and a lot of exercises. We had local exercises amongst our fleets, and we also exercised our ships with the navies of other countries.
The outgone Flag Officer, Rear Admiral Chijoke Onyemobi, commended personnel for their commitment and resilience, which facilitated the increase in the command's ships. Now, efforts by the defense team of the former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello to delay his trial has been overruled by the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory sitting in Abuja. This was during the resumption of proceedings in the alleged money laundering suits filed against him by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Dele Atumbi reports.
Yahaya Bello, Shuaibu Richa, and Absalami Udu were implicated by the EFCC for alleged conspiracy, forgery, money laundering, running to over 110 billion naira said to belong to Kogi State. This Wednesday's proceedings were slated for the first prosecution witness to testify, but the defense team objected, saying they were yet to be served with proof of evidence, list of witnesses, and other details in possession of the prosecution team. EFCC Prosecution Counsel Kemi Fehiro SAN said this was a ploy to delay trial as all the processes had been front-loaded since November 26, 2024. Querying why the defense waited till now to raise the objection, presiding judge Justice Marian Anene overruled it and ordered the trial to proceed. Thereafter, the prosecution witness Fabian Nwaora took to the witness box to testify. Details how a certain Dr. Shehu Bello Ohiani approached him and purchased one of his properties. However, when EFCC commenced investigation of the said Shehu Bello, the property deals were retained. Also, he refunded the money paid by Shehu Bello to the EFCC recovery account. Meanwhile, the criminal matter has been adjourned to 3rd of April 2025. Yahaya Bello and other defendants in the case have been on bail since December 2024 when they were first arraigned. Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And Sadia is standing by in our Sokoto Network Center to tell us more on the empowerment of 800 farmers by the Sokoto State Government and the UNDP. It's over to you, Sadia.
Towards promoting self-reliance and agricultural production for sustainable development, Sokoto State Government has disbursed cash grants and farm inputs to 800 beneficiaries drawn from 4 local government areas contending with activities of bandits and kidnappers. Abdullahi Umar Ilalu reports that the empowerment was flagged off at Godabawa as part of recovery efforts in these commercial and agrarian communities.
The initiative provides cash support and agricultural inputs to farmers, with each of the 250 beneficiaries from Ilela, 150 from Sabon Birni, and 50 each from Gwadabawa and Kware local government areas receiving 150,000 naira empowerment support. Additionally, 300 farmers from Ilela local government received agricultural inputs, including improved seedlings, fertilizers, and machinery. Governor Ahmed Aliyu emphasized that this initiative is part of his administration's job creation strategy aimed at discouraging youths from joining extremist groups.
It is part of our modest effort to ensure food security and wealth creation, particularly in the border community. I want to affirm my administration unwavering commitment to support our women, youth, and other vulnerable groups in the overall development of our dear state.
The UNDP representative Nuruddin Bashir Sali commended Governor Aliyu for his insightful initiatives and assured of the organization's continuous partnership.
UNDP is committed to maintain and sustain a partnership with your government to brainstorm, to reflect as to how best we can help you achieve your development agenda.
Some of the beneficiaries expressed gratitude for the gesture, pledging to use it judiciously. The initiative is set to be extended to other communities, demonstrating the government's commitment to empowering its citizens. In Sokoto, Abdullah Omar Ilalu, NTA News.
In a significant breakthrough in the fight against crime, Sokoto State Command of the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, NSCDC, has arrested 3 young men for alleged abduction and gang rape of a 15-year-old girl. The suspects were paraded to newsmen at the NSCDC Command Headquarters, Sokoto. Elis Abdullahi has details.
The 20-year-old principal suspect, Halid Shehu, was arrested on the 23rd of January alongside his accomplices, Jamil Umar 20 and 24-year-old Usman Bello. The suspects confessed to abducting their victim, holding her captive, and repeatedly raped her for more than 3 days. Preliminary investigation revealed that the victim was allegedly lured and dragged by a female suspect identified as Rabi'atu, now at large. This underscores the NSCDC's unwavering commitment to tackling organized crime and ensuring public safety in Sokoto State.
This tragic event is a stark reminder of the need for parents and guardians to remain vigilant over the activities and whereabouts of their children.
The command reaffirms its commitment of combating activities of all criminal elements in the state. In Sokoto, Dalhatu Abdullahi, NTA News.
And those are the news updates from Sokoto. Ifoma will be next, but that will be after the break. Do stay.
From the Atlantic across the savannah and Sahara, we rise, the land of the free, we know they tire.
The rich cultural history and heritage to the world is being enhanced through the initiatives put in place by the National Institute for Cultural Orientation. The platform is the World Orisha Congress. It is a convergence of Yoruba traditional religion enthusiasts interested in sharing their beliefs, knowledge, experiences. Chief Executive Officer of the National Institute for Cultural Orientation, Biodun Ajiboye, says Nigeria stands to immensely benefit from the global cultural exchange provided by such festivals.
It's only common sense for anyone to buy into. Now, tourism today is a huge economic enabler. There can be better tourism than spiritual and cultural tourism because they are obedient and they act in the circle of faith.
Glory Agbo reports that countries expected to participate in the Orisha Congress include Brazil, Cuba, Argentina, and other Caribbean nations with sizable Nigerian immigrants population. The Nigerian Legion has formalized a private sector-led initiative for the establishment of the Armed Forces Veterans Federation Fund, Signing the Memorandum of Understanding between the Nigerian Legion and the partners, National Chairman of the Nigerian Legion, Major General Abdul Malik Jibril, says the initiative aims to bridge the resource gap that hinders support services to veterans.
In working together, they will be able to generate funds, both locally and internationally, that will assist Nigerian Legion to be able to carry out its mandate.
The partners agreed that government alone cannot fund veterans' affairs in the country, calling on corporate and private sectors to join in catering for those who have selflessly served the nation.
So in Nigeria, we're encouraging the private sector, corporate sector, and the general public to contribute to this very, very important. Our veterans and their dependents, we owe them a debt that we can never pay.
The company has come with this initiative to partner with the Legion, basically to begin to look at opportunities and to think outside the box, in terms of trying to put together funding to support our military veterans.
And next is sports updates.
The Nigerian Olympians Association and the National Sports Commission are set to collaborate for sports development in Nigeria. At a meeting with NSC Chairman Shehu Diko in Abuja, the NOA, led by its President Olumide Oyedeji, and retired elite athletes including Faliat Ogunkoya, Emmanuel Babayero, and the legendary sports broadcaster Hamid Adu, among others, praised the NSC for leading the new thinking in the Nigerian sports sector.
First time, we have a budget now for Olympic preparations. So instead for us to wait for 2028, start looking for money. Now every year there will be money for Olympic preparations.
Yes, so the inclusion of the Olympians and the upcoming national sport federations, which will be a great addition to what you try to do, because at least we have people that can also help, assist.
I want to focus on three major areas, Mr. Chairman. One, sports and national unity. Two, sports and our youths. Three, sports and education.
Nigerian teams to the 2025 African Cup for Club Championship scheduled for Egypt have been encouraged to fly the country's flag high at the competition. President Nigerian Hockey Federation Simon Nkom boosted the morals of the hockey teams in Abuja before their departure.
This time around, what we expect is to be able to now go in there. And then where we made mistakes before, there's no room for mistakes. Zero tolerance to mistakes.
5 teams, including Niger Africans and Kata Stars in the male category, Kara Queens and Plateau Queens and Delta Queens in the women's category, will be representing Nigeria at the tournament, which runs from 30th January to 7th February 2025. Meanwhile, Nigerian under-20 female cricket team have signed out of this year's T20 Cricket World Cup in Bangui, Malaysia, with a half-fought 6-run victory over Ireland. They wrapped up their campaign with second win of the Super 6 group in third position behind England, while Ireland finished at the bottom of the group. With Sports Update and Austin Edemodu, NTA News.
And as it's on Nationwide for today, we thank you for being part of it. I am Ifoma Ojinta. Bye for now.